Bonjour and welcome to French Detours. I'm Tracy Parent, your guide to the regional specialties and hidden gems of France. There are many hidden gems in the Minneapolis area, including Valerie's French Kitchen. Bonjour Valerie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good morning, Tracy. Thank you, and I'm very happy to be here as well.
First of all, I love the name of your business. It sounds so warm and inviting. Can you tell us what you all do?
Yes, absolutely. So I kind of have actually three hats. One of them is catering, and I cater for people who like to do to entertain. So I basically do city dinner parties where people can have friends over, and I will come to their house and organize a full 3, 4, 5 course dinner depending on what they want. And I also do cocktail parties, so for bigger parties where people could be up to 50 people and they want to celebrate a special event. I would organize small bites and then they can enjoy them throughout the evening. Then the second thing, the second hat I have is actually personal chef services. So that's something, which is quite popular for busy families, which really enjoy eating at home healthy meals on a daily basis, but they don't necessarily have the time to cook because they're involved with children activities or work, or sometimes they don't enjoy cooking so much, but they still want to eat healthy. I would come in and I would cook in their house and then stock up their fridge with tasty and healthy meals. And what would happen is we would meet previously before, and we would discuss their dietary needs, what they like, what they don't like, come up with a menu, and then every week the menu would change, and then I will just go and cook for them.
Oh, and you know that is my ultimate dream, right?
Well, that's something I would love to do for you, Tracy.
Oh.
And then for people who don't necessarily want a full service, I also have another service, which is more of a meal prep service where I prepare already meals from my commercial kitchen, and then I would deliver it to the customers, or they would come and pick it up in my kitchen.
Wow, oh, that sounds amazing. So what are some of your favorite dishes?
Well, the funny thing is I am actually more a savory person, but there are some desserts I really, really love, and this is my all-time favorite dessert, and it's profiterole au chocolat. So those are little puff filled with vanilla ice cream and then topped with a chocolate sauce. And my mom used to make those when I was younger. And I remember the first time she actually made the little puff, I was sitting in front of the oven, looking at the puff getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. Oh. So that's a dessert I really loved. And I've made that dessert many times for my children, who also love them. That's one of my son's favorites. And I found also that many of my clients like that dessert. That's a very crowd pleaser and very, very popular.
So how did you get into cooking?
Well, I've always enjoyed cooking, I think. From very young on, I always saw my mom and my grandmothers cooking, family dinners or for every day or for celebrations. And I guess I was interested in it. So I was always, hanging around in the kitchen and looking at what they're doing. And when I had my own family, I also started cooking for my children and my family. So that's something I always enjoyed. To me, it wasn't a chore. It was really a time to relax and maybe give love to my family as well. And so that's something I've always done, yes.
So it sounds like a value that was instilled to you from childhood. Do you have a lot of childhood influences that kind of define your cooking?
Yes, absolutely. I would say, yes, my mom would love to cook. And on Sundays, for example, we would have a Sunday lunch. So the day before we would plan the menu. And then on the morning, we would go to the market and pick up the best ingredients we could find and then come home and cook together. So yeah, my childhood was very much influenced by the way we cooked at home, definitely.
And where did you grow up in France? Or it sounds like maybe you've moved around a bit as well.
I did, yes. So I grew up in a small town called Moissac, which is in northern eastern France, north of Toulouse, but I only lived there actually until I was 7 years old. And at this age, my parents actually moved to Ivory Coast in West Africa. So this is basically where I grew up. However, every year we would come back home to France for the summer. And so although I lived abroad, I was still living in a French family household. So we were very much influenced by the French culture and tradition. Yes.
So what would you say defines your cooking style? Obviously fresh food and fresh ingredients is very important to you, but is there a style?
Yes, I love to use fresh ingredients and seasonal ingredients. The style I would say would be mostly family style. I like, to have to bring a big pot or a big bowl of a nice stew or a big salad on the table, and everyone, can help themselves. But I like to do that. But also can do some more sophisticated dinners, which would be plated in individual plates. And my influence, of course, because of my roots, are very much French. I do cook a lot of French cuisine, but also I also have a variety of non-French recipe, if I may say, because I lived abroad in many different countries in Europe and in Asia. So I'm very much influenced as well by the Asian culture and food. For example, the Thai food, Vietnamese, Chinese, Indian, which I also love to cook.
Wow. So you add a lot of those different cultural influences into your menus then?
Yes, I do. I do, yes. And sometimes I like to make a bit of fusion food. So I would take a French dish and an Asian dish, for example, and try to combine them together and create another dish with both influences, or something sometimes Middle Eastern and French as well. And I would try to come up with, to give it maybe a Middle Eastern twist to a French dish or the other way around. Yes, I like to experiment and try different things.
Oh, I can't wait to taste my first meal here. So what has been the silver lining to this quarantine time, if there is one for you?
Well, I guess the silver lining, I'd say, would be to be able to spend more time at home and working on some recipes and developing them. And as well, spending a lot of time with my grown-up children. They're both in college, and obviously they had to come back home. So we kind of stuck at home all together. But it's a nice time because we get to spend all this time doing things together, working outside the house when we can, and then cooking and eating. So it's nice. I'm feeling very grateful to have them with me. Yes.
Oh, awesome. And how can people sign up for your catering services in the future? I know I'm going to be putting myself on the list as soon as I can get back to Minnesota.
Right. So they can go on my website. Right now, I'm actually working on it, so it's not accessible, but it will be accessible hopefully by the beginning of May. Otherwise, people can certainly contact me on social medias, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and they can also contact me on my email address, which is very simple, but it's only valeriesfrenchkitchen@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, working on a website and recipes and all of that stuff. It sounds like you've been doing a lot of creative work, and I think people will look very forward to having your meals and services in the very near future, I hope, especially me. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Thank you very much, Tracy.
À bientôt.
À bientôt.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.